Okay, so we're back for part 3. Now, sometimes when we have verbs, we can't just add es or s or ed to the end of it because it's an irregular verb. And if it's irregular, we have to sometimes change the entire verb. We can't just add a simple ending. So if we have a regular verb, we can add an ending like es or s or ed to it to change it. But if it's not, we have to change the whole word. And I'm going to show you today about how to know when we change the whole word for an irregular verb. So again, we're going to pull out your green folder if you have it. If you don't have it, that's okay. I will show you my book as well. But we're going to be looking on the next page that we were on yesterday. So that means I want you to pull out, it's going to be reference 32 this time. It's the next reference. And like I said, it should be the next page. So probably on page 84. But look in your packet, whatever packet your color packet yours might be, and look for this worksheet. If you don't have it, it's okay. I'm going to show you on my DocuCamera. Okay, I'm sorry, I know it's not always super clear, but I'm going to read it and you can just do your best to follow along. All right, so again, you should have your reference page 32 open, the reference 32, regular and irregular verbs. If you don't have it, that's okay. I'm going to read it for you. Okay, so it says all verbs can be changed to past tense. The way you change a verb to past tense will make it a regular or irregular verb. Regular verbs, as you have just learned, you add ed to most verbs to form the past tense. Verbs that are made past tense by adding ed are called regular verbs. They're called what? Regular verbs. Most verbs are regular because they form their past tense by adding ed. Irregular verbs. So we're talking about irregular verbs now. Irregular. However, a few verbs, like the verbs on the verb chart, are made past tense by a spelling change. The verbs from the verb chart are called irregular verbs. They're called what? Irregular verbs. The only way to learn how to write and speak using irregular verbs is to memorize them. But for now, you can just use the verb chart. So you have the chart in your book also, right? It's in the beginning. So you guys can review that. Regular and irregular present verb tense. Regular verb tense verbs, listen or listens, irregular present tense verbs from the verb chart, like grow or grows. So for listen, we can just make it listened. The children listened carefully, right? Or the children listen carefully. For flowers, though, for grow, we can't just use grow. We can't say flowers grow around we start over. We can't say that flowers grow along the drive, but how do I make it past tense? I can't say flowers growed along the garden. That does not make sense. So grow is going to be an irregular verb. So here's how I change it. Irregular and regular past tense verbs. So we learned that listened would be, all we have to do is add the ed. But for flowers, we have to change the word to grew. Flowers grew along the drive. Grew. So I changed my word from grow to grew. I changed it by using a different spelling. Now, the same thing happens for future. I just add the will. The will grow is totally okay. I only have to change irregular verbs for past tense. For what? Past tense, yes. So here is another example, or some more, a further breakdown of this, or an easier breakdown. This is what I would use on my test. I would use this part. So I have past tense, what to look for. I have one verb. I'm going to add the ses or plain ending. I know I can change it easily. So I have the baby cries for his bottle, or the baby drinks his milk. That's the past tense, or the present tense verse. Tense, it's happening right now. Now for past tense, it happened already. I just add ed to it, right? The baby cried for his bottle, but drinks is not a regular verb. It's an irregular verb. So when I change drinks, I have to change it to drank. The baby drank his milk. As a parent, I am constantly reminding my kids at home how to properly use past tense verbs. And I'm sure your parents probably do the same thing. Okay, so this is one that we mostly we get wrong the most. So that's why we are so careful when we're teaching you. We want you to really memorize how to do this properly. So the baby drank his milk. So how about the future? Well, the future, it's simple. For cries, I just add will cry. And for my irregular verb drink, I just had the will in front of it. The baby will drink his bottle. I would never say the baby will drink his bottle, right? Or will drink his milk. I say will drink. It goes back to the original verb. I only change it for the past tense verb. I change it for what? The past tense verb. Great job. And here's some examples. So these are regular verbs. This is what we talked about already. So we walked to school. When are we doing it? Right now. We walked to school. When did we do it? Maybe this morning, maybe last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, but we did it at some point in the past. And then I have we will walk to school. So when are we going to do it? We're going to do it in the future, number 3. Now here's my irregular verb, fly. Okay, the geese fly south. The geese fly south. So when did the geese fly south? They're doing it right now. It's happening right now. And then I have the geese flew. So I changed fly to flew. The geese flew south. And my tense for that is going to be to. So it happened in the past. They did it already. They already flew to the south. And then I have number 3. The geese will fly south. They will do it. It's not happening right now, but it's going to happen soon or at some point, right? Okay, here are the irregular verbs that are going to be on our test. Wendy wore a red dress. And if you see, we're changing the irregular verbs for you. You don't have to worry about that. We have the irregular verb for you. You just have to know what tense it is. And again, 1 is going to be for present tense. 2 is going to be for past tense. And 3 is going to be for happens in the future. So Wendy wore a red dress. She wore a red dress. When did she wear the dress? She wore it in the past. That's right. So I'm going to write a number 2 because she wore it in the past. Now, Wendy wears a red dress. She wears it. She wears a red dress. Is that going to be now, in the past, or in the future? It's going to be right now. Great job. And then I have Wendy will wear a red dress. She will wear the red dress. When will she wear it? In the future. In the future. Oh, I changed it. He wrote a beautiful poem. When did he write that poem? Did he write it in the future? Did he write it in the past? Or did he write it right now? He wrote it in the past. Great job. So if he wrote it, if I'm changing write to wrote, is that a regular or an irregular verb? It is a irregular. That's right, it's an irregular verb. All right. I know that was a lot of information. I know the information that you're not used to, and I'm sure we would have explained it a lot better in class and a lot clearer, but it's okay. There's just a little bit of dabbing into this to get your brain started, get you thinking about it. We're going to go over it all over again in 3rd grade next year, so don't stress out too horribly much. When you do your test, feel free to use those reference guides if you need to, and they'll help you get all the answers right. But I think you're going to do amazing. I'm not worried about you at all. Just remember, my future tense is going to be number what? 1, 2, 3, future. Pop quiz. Future is number 3. Great job. And past is number 2. And happening right now is number 1. That's right. If it's happening right now, it's number 1. Happening in the past is number 2. Happening in the future is number 3. You guys are awesome. You guys are AWESOME. Awesome, awesome, totally. Woo! See you guys later.